So, Mark, here we are on another monthly tape to tape.
Yep.
And let's get straight into it with a very topical subject, the playoffs.
Yeah.
What will be the ticket prices for the home leg of the playoff semi-final, and then for the final at Wembley, multiple fans, which may be a bit presumptuous, the second part of that question?
It is, but obviously you have to pre-plan. The ticket prices for the home leg of the playoffs, we're working on normal standard league, a typical normal League 2 match day price. So there's no big shocks there. And should we, as you say, not being presumptuous, should we arrive at Wembley, then I believe the pricing is going to be in the region of £26 to £60 for the best tickets in the house. But the vast majority fall under the £26 and I believe £30 category. So again, in my opinion, quite reasonable. And concessions will be at 50% of that.
I should say multiple fans asked that.
Yeah.
If, on the dark side of that, we fail to get promotion, are there funds available next season to push further and bolster squad depth, says Callum on Twitter?
I think we've always made it clear that, as Ian McKennis, I quote him famously, we eat what we kill. So a lot of that will be dependent on, in the event of us failing to gain promotion this year, the season ticket take up, our commercial sponsors get behind us in the close season. So it's going to be a swing either way. I mean, we've budgeted, should we still be in League 2 next year, we've budgeted conservatively. There won't be any major cuts or whatever, so we'll be able to still deliver a very, very competitive budget. But if you're talking about further significant investment by way of transfer fees and that, a lot of that will be dependent on how we do in the close season.
Darren on Facebook, is there a reason why the Michael Smith loan is not for the whole season? And could we have not spoken to Swindon Football League about extending it once loan window opened again? I think I know the answer to that one. Yeah,
it was a difficult one because when we signed Michael, he'd already played in January for Barnsley and I believe Swindon. So he'd played for two clubs, which excluded him from then doing another window-to-window loan. So the only option available to us was a 93-day emergency loan, which unfortunately ends in after the Hartlepool game.
Now, you were slumming it the other night at Wimbledon. So...
No, not slumming it. I've gone up market.
All right. You obviously enjoyed it. And Will on Facebook says, how did you enjoy your evening in amongst the away fans at AFC Wimbledon?
Listen, like most people, that ends up as not so much so nowadays, unfortunately, but most people like myself that end up in football, we started off as fans and I spent my life growing up on the terraces at West Ham. I loved it, and it's no different now with Pompey. Obviously, when you're the chief exec or a chairman or a director, it is difficult because as much as I enjoyed it the other day, and it was a bit of a free hit in that we was pretty much nailed on for the playoffs anyway. So, the atmosphere was absolutely buzzing, as you'd expect. And because of the win, you come home and go, wow, why don't I do that more often? But a week ago at York, I probably wouldn't have wanted to be in with the fans. Probably would have been hanging from the rafters, maybe, So you've got to be careful that if you start doing that as a rule of thumb, it was great going there and people shaking hands and I love that. You love it, but you've always got to look at the possible negatives should we have a bad performance, and you could very quickly become embroiled in something that could be quite like stormy.
Yeah, and your popularity is pretty good at the moment. You're
not
a Mike Ashley figure at the moment.
No, at the moment. So football as Paul will tell you, has a habit of coming up and biting you on the backside sometimes. But at this moment in time, as a club on and off the pitch, we're in a fantastic position, and long may it continue.
Paul Cook reckons he saw you outside a burger van in your element. So
I think, mate, I like me burgers. I like me burgers better than the ballroom food. You go past the burger van and you get that smell and that. It just brings back everything of when you was young yourself and when you was in the terraces or. But it's just one of them things. To answer the question, I loved it. It was a great night. It was a good time to be there. I'd like to do it every single week, as I'm sure Ian McKinnis would, Ashley Brown, John Kimball, the rest of the board. But it can be a difficult thing, as like Mike Ashley.
Yeah.
Good example at Newcastle. He started off going in there, and on the back of a few poor results, he soon find it untenable. And what you've got to do is You know, make sure that if you're going to go in there, you've got to be consistent with it. You can't just go when things are good and then not go when they're bad. So if you're making a conscious decision, I'm going to sit with the fans, in my opinion, you have to go and do it every game.
Did you hear negative comments as well as positive comments there?
I didn't actually. No, I was for the ones that were sat around me. It was quite funny because I was sat next to the Wimbledon fans, and they were, to quote, a little bit chirpy at times, and our fans were giving them a little bit of stick, and they were giving it back. And part of you go back to your default, and you want to get involved, but you can't, obviously. But no, it was all good natured, you know. But no, it was great night. Really enjoyed it.
Right, onto a subject that I know has been under club scrutiny. James on Instagram says, when I turn 17 next year, my season ticket will increase in price. Other clubs keep children prices to 18. Why can't we have our junior tickets extended to under 18s, as my season ticket will double in price into the student barrier?
Who's that saying that in?
James on Instagram.
James, it could be your lucky year, yeah? Watch this space for developments over the close season in our ticket pricing for next season.
Which is why I say I know it's come under internal scrutiny.
Yeah.
Why has the ticket office changed its phone number? More fans need to be told about this for the playoffs. Cam on Instagram.
We've changed as a result of the cup games this year. We identified a problem in regards of people getting through to the ticket office. So we're currently in the process of changing the whole way that we deal with people phoning into the club to buy tickets. A part of that is we needed to take the number to get a separate non-geographic number. It's local rate, it's still local rate, but that then gives us the flexibility to use a call centre possibly for high profile games. It makes, at the flick of a switch, we can get that diverted off to the call centre to take a higher proportion of inquiries. So that's a massive positive. If you ring the old number now, it tells you about the new number, and in the lead up to the playoffs we'll be consistently advertising the new number and how much better this will be in an attempt to obviously improve service that we learned from the cup games.
So it's not meant to make things harder, everything's
No,
meant to make it
it's
easier.
meant to make it easier. Yeah. As I say, the old number had a capacity of 15 lines, had very, very little flexibility in that when them 15 lines were, as we know, we had the complaints in the summer, when them 15 lines were clogged up, people were getting cut off and they were being held in like an engaged queue for however long and then just suddenly getting cut off. So we've looked to address that, but obviously part of that was the downside as such is we've had to change our number to give us the flexibility to be able to divert it to multiple destinations to be able to take the call.
Right, Squelch on Twitter.
Squelch, that's a good name.
Yeah. I think there's some indication in the question why is Squelch. Why do I still have to smuggle my bottle of drink into the ground to stop the lid being taken off? Doesn't happen elsewhere. Well, that's not entirely true.
It's not entirely true. It does happen at a lot of clubs. Depends on the history of the club, with what incidents they've had over the years in regards of people throwing objects onto the pitch. Listen, when I first got involved in football, I was in Squelch's camp. I said, "What this bloody stupid rule!" But then it was demonstrated to me someone throwing a Coke bottle at a mannequin, full up, and then someone taking the lid off. Someone throwing it full up, smashed into the mannequin. It was a real weapon, and you know if you take the top off, by the time it got to the mannequin, all the liquid had gone out of it, and it was just an empty plastic bottle and did no damage at all. So this is for the safety of people, purely for the players, the officials, and whatever. And unfortunately, we have got a history of people throwing objects onto the pitch. So if we had a few clear seasons, then it's something we could revisit. But we couldn't revisit at the moment with, unfortunately, the history we've got.
What's the deal with the blue gate next to Tesco? Asked the young beard on Instagram. On the approach to the alley and Frogmore Road, coming out of the games is a hassle as the crowd flow is restricted due to only being able to get through a small gap.
We're looking at that. We can't do nothing about the alleyway, obviously. The alleyway's been there for years and years and years. Without buying that house, I assumed, to the left of it as you're coming off Frogmore Road, I don't see what we could do to make that any wider either way. That's the real bottleneck. It has been compounded slightly, I would say, by now the blue gates and the Tesco where it's quite free there. But it's something we're monitoring, and if we can get a solution to it, then obviously we'll address that in the summer.
Miles Sampson, that name rings a bell, asked, was there any serious plans to sign Ruben Reid from Plymouth, and why didn't we in that case?
I think it's very disrespectful to talk about the player that he's contracted at another club. I think it was well documented at the time that an inquiry was made. It come back that they wasn't interested in doing a deal. This was at the start of the season, and we've respected Plymouth since then and haven't gone back and made any attempts either to sign him or unsettle him via his agent.
No, and you say we've moved on.
Yeah, moved on. Yeah.
What are the plans to increase capacity next season, no matter what league we are in? 3 to 4 games sold out for home fans. I'm not sure if that's a question or if that's a statement. Bride John on Twitter.
But it probably is a statement, because I think that is about the right figures. 3 to 4 games with the cup games this year that we've sold out. We've done what we can with all the what I say little bits, the things that are going to cost, your tens, low 100,000s to get our capacity up from what it was when we come out of administration. As you know, it was cut then following a safety audit, because the safety and security of our fans come forefront in our thoughts. So we've steadily done work that's got us up to, I believe, just under 19,000 now, which is fair play to everyone involved. But unfortunately, if we want to now go significantly beyond that, there are no quick fixes. Any fix to do that's going to cost upwards of $500,000 plus. And then you're looking at the areas that have been really cut, the Milton End and the North Stand, are the areas that predominantly the trust and the presidents and the main board ultimately are looking at in regards of, do we stay at Fratton Park or do we move? And it seems very little point in investing $500,000, $1 million to add 200 to 300 maybe in a particular stand when in the next 3 to 4 years potentially large scale work might be being undertaken in either the Milton End or the North Stand. So until that whole debate is resolved, I don't think you'll see any significant improvement in attendances.
When will we find out the kits for next season, multiple fans?
We've had the samples in of all 3 kits now. I think it's Johnny Ilvatch is one of them I quite particularly like. I think it's fantastic. The fans voted on the kits. We've had the samples. They're undergoing tests at the minute. A couple of things we're not happy with, so we've gone back and said, look, we want this incorporated. We're not happy with how the materials performed, in regards of this aspect. So it's in that stage at the minute where we're at the samples, but we're very, very near to hitting the button on all 3 kits. And as I say, hopefully they'll be with us for the summer.
Now, we've come through all that and there's been no comment or criticism about the team.
That's good.
No comment or
lucky we didn't do it last week after York.
No comment or criticism about the manager. No.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Comment or criticism about board policy. Is that a first?
I don't know. You asked me the questions. You tell me. Listen. I think, as I said, touch wood, we're in a great place on and off the pitch. We're moving forward. I think everyone can see the progress that we've made this year, especially on the pitch. More so than off the pitch, probably, and that's fair. Great credit to Cookie, his team, and all the players. It's great not going to bed, not sleeping, worrying about the wrong end of the table. It's great actually going to bed excited because we've got a game tomorrow that actually means something in a positive manner. So, as I say, I think we've moved on massively. I think the vast majority of fans are totally behind the team, totally behind the manager, and we've got a great running now. We've got obviously Hartlepool Saturday, which would be great. Northampton sold out, I believe, all but sold out for next week, which will hopefully be a big party atmosphere. And then we've effectively got 3 cup finals, and 2 that we know of, and hopefully a 3rd cup final. So it's a great time to be a Pompey fan and a lot to look forward to. Whatever happens, whatever the outcome this season, I think it's been a massive success. Our cup runs, the way we're playing football, the fact we've been outside of the top 7 maybe for a couple of weeks max all season. I saw something on social media just last night where someone had done a league table of the top 7 teams playing against each other, and we're top with a game to go. Admittedly, I think Northampton have got a game in hand as well, and if they was to beat us Saturday week, then they'd go above us. But to be first or second in that just says about what a great team we must have to be competing against the other top teams so well. I think it's 21 points from 11 games from the top 7 teams. I mean, that's a marvellous return. Our away form that's been an issue for a lot of years, you know, our away form's been good. We've had a few frustrations at home that we know about, but it's all part of a learning curve, a whole new squad, whole new management team, and I think they've done a remarkable job this year, whatever the outcome of the season.
You've actually answered what would have been the preceding question about it must be viewed as successful whether whatever now happens in the future 4 games, 5 games.
It does. It in my opinion, yeah. I mean, listen, everyone's entitled to an opinion at football. You know, some people might think it's bad, some people might say it's indifferent, some people say average. In my opinion, it has been a successful season in the style of play that we've adopted, in the highs, the cup games against Ipswich, home and away, your Reading, Derby, Bournemouth, even though we got beat, you know, but there's still great games. You know, we've had some fantastic away performances as well. And just my memory of this season, whatever happens now, will be a really, really positive one, and one that gives us a great springboard for next year, as I say, no matter what the final outcome.